just yesterday, we were talking about Drew Barrymore. She's on a dating site, and somebody tried to catfish her by pretending to be the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams. And she believed him there for a minute. And he said, oh, no, I'm just messing around. I'm actually a musician. And she didn't like that. Plus, he called her Drewski, which she hated. So now another celebrity has come out and said, you know what? I'm done with dating sites, too. It's Teri Hatcher. Teri Hatcher, who was in Desperate Housewives and a famous episode of Seinfeld.
Don't forget Lois and Clark.
Lois and Clark. That's right. She was Lois and very good in the role. Anyway, she was kicked off of the dating app Hinge because they thought she was pretending to be Teri Hatcher. They thought she was, so they knocked her out. And she goes, no, I am Teri Hatcher. I'm really trying to.
I am desperate.
Yeah. You have no idea. And they didn't believe her. And finally, by the time it was sorted out, she said, well, I'm just done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. It was, who else was, Emma Stone wants to be on Jeopardy as a regular person. You know, she wants to mix with the normies, as Biggie would call them. And they said, yeah, come on, you know, you can try that on Jeopardy. And then Ken Jennings says, we'd love to have her, but she's got to really earn her way on. You know, she wants to be just like a regular person.
It's almost now that she said it, there's no winning, because if she gets on, no one will believe that she earned her way on. Sure. Emma Stone.
I know. It's too bad, because I wish she said she's tried for 6 years in a row to get on there. She takes the test online for Jeopardy and has not made it yet. The other,
you know, did you see the other? This is sort of Super Bowl related. Did you see the Teri Hatcher story?
No. Is she?
Well, I don't know how accurate this is, and maybe this is a job for your little podcast that you guys do.
I don't like the way he refers to this.
Yeah. Those are demeaning terms.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Did I offend?
It's not just a little podcast.
It's not offending. You just don't take it seriously, and it's upsetting.
It's really taking off.
Yeah.
I just got an email about it.
Well, if I'm Kurt, I apologize.
Did they like it?
Yeah, they liked it. He was talking about suggestion was that I watch The Staircase because I liked that movie Anatomy of a Fall so much. Well, I've seen this.
You've already seen it.
Now I'm going back and forth. 2 great emails yesterday. A P1 listener emailed me about The Staircase, and we went back and forth about the guilt or innocence of the person who may have committed that murder.
Or murdered by owl.
Yes. Or I say murdered by owl. Yeah. That's A Staircase. Have you ever seen The Staircase?
Never saw it. I know the story, but I never saw it.
It's fascinating.
Based on real events.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's fascinating. And once a documentary, they follow the real guy if you watch it. And then they made a whole movie about it, you know, a whole other thing about it. And then the other email I got very late in the program yesterday, during garbage time, Chris Demm was saying that with the emojis, and there are new emojis coming out, you know, he has never taken like the thumbs up emoji on his phone, and
it's default yellow.
Yeah, the Simpsons yellow, and he's never changed it. Some people change it to white to match their incredibly pale white skin, and you've never seen the need to do that. And then you were all saying that if you hold down on it, of course, you can change it to your own skin tone, whether you be darker or, you know, African American. And everybody was saying that all the emojis they get from their black friends are with black thumbs up, and black praying hands. And I was trying to think, and I've never gotten any message,
any of the above,
from any black person. And I wanted to thank a couple of folks for emailing me a black thumbs up. Yeah, I got a black thumbs up.
Aw.
And I said, all right.
Look at you.
Okay.
We are the world.
I got a black thumbs up. And then later, I think just out of pity, Chris Demm sent me some black praying hands.
Well, that was more for Biggie.
He's praying for Biggie, but he sent some black praying hands. He's like, you'll know what it means. I just wanted to thank the few folks who took the time out of their day.
I assume you're black who sent them?
They said they were. They were like, this is not stolen valor. I am black. And they put up a black thumbs up. And I said, well, there it is. Finally, I can say I've seen that. But you're talking about...
Well, apparently Teri Hatcher, who is... I think she's just a lovely woman. Always been a fan of her work. She's in a movie called 2 Days in the Valley. Sexy.
Yeah. Boy, in her day, man.
In her day, she was
gorgeous.
Mount Rushmore.
She's in the famous Seinfeld, Those Are Real and They're Spectacular, right? That's her.
Legend.
Beautiful.
All time. And evidently she has been, you know, because the San Francisco 49ers have been up and down over the years, but they've won a handful of Super Bowls.
Oh, yeah.
And she has been flashing what she says is a Super Bowl 49ers ring. She says that was given to her by the former owner of the team, the DiBartolo fellow.
Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
And so she shows it every time the Niners are decent.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know this, but she was a Gold Rush cheerleader back in her day.
Well, not surprising, honestly.
Even hotter.
Right, sure.
Makes her even hotter.
Yeah.
But apparently those who have seen the ring say, that's not a Super Bowl ring.
That's stolen valor.
So it might have just been, what's his name, Eddie
DiBartolo, yes.
trying to charm her.
Oh, I bet it was.
You know?
Way back when.
Because it's filled with diamonds, but it doesn't say, it doesn't have the SF logo. It doesn't say 49ers. It doesn't say Super Bowl. It's just a lot of diamonds on a ring.
It doesn't have the year and the Super Bowl logo and all that stuff.
Not that I could tell, but I've only seen a blurry photo.
Oh, maybe she was
So
due.
maybe you guys can, do a little digging on your little thing.
You want to do a thing on a little
Yeah, we
dig?
can do a little digging. Yeah.
The big complaint is for me to stop running my mouth about sports, though. I keep people always say, "Shut up, let BB Shea talk. Don't talk sports."
Well, funny you should mention that because the day after the championship games,
yes,
it was the Monday after, and the games had been entertaining. That 49ers comeback
that was a great
for
game.
the ages.
Yes.
I got an email from a P1 who said, "Love the show, but please tell those two." And he's talking to BB Shea and Kelly.
Me, yeah.
Keep the football talk to a minimum.
Enough already.
Yeah. Now, if I had been Chris Kelly, you would have said, "Well, it was the day after the championship game. We only devoted one segment to it.
The Super Bowl's coming up.
It was an important time.
I thought it was an important time.
It was.
Okay. Yeah.
The email was sent to me only, and I said, they have emails too, unless you want to be Chris Kelly and passive-aggressive this thing. The guy wrote back, "You win this round."
That's always what Chris Demm does. What was the one? God, the one recently was so. Oh, I know what it was. Somebody emailed about something. They hated what I said. Hated what we said. And I wrote him back and said, "Please give us another chance. I know you're new to it, but if you give us just one more hour, and maybe I can make it up to you." And send it like 2 paragraphs worth. Can you do? Is there anything we can do? Chris Demm writes back, "Eat a bag."
Well, you have to really push buttons to get to that level. I don't.
I forget what he said.
That's beyond. I remember it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
That's beyond snark.
He goes, "Eat a bag of D's." That's it. It's over.
We're done here.
All right. This is a sports related, entertainment related as well. Of course, the Lions had that game in hand and lost. They were up by 17 at halftime. Lost to the 49ers, who are going to the Super Bowl. Eminem is a huge Detroit Lions fan, of course. He's from Detroit. And he said after the game that he wanted to, let me get this exactly right. Oh, he was going to make a diss track about Lions coaching staff, particularly offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, for not running the ball more during the second half. He's thought better of it and said, "I am retracting my diss."
He's not going to spit a rhyme?
I'm not going to spit a rhyme on this. I won't. I was going to spit a rhyme, but I am no longer going to spit a rhyme.
BB Shea, you're the rapper, the staff rapper, in-house rapper. Have you ever done a diss track?
I've done several diss tracks. Yes.
Have you?
Yes. When I used to rap a little bit on the sister station.
Oh, you would
I
do
used
a
to have
diss.
to rap battle people on there.
So you had the diss track.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
where
pretty good at it,
That's
too.
where I
Yeah.
figured. That's where I discovered you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put Holly in her place, man.
That was right.
Man, that is exactly where I said this guy's got something. I said this guy. I want this guy rapping.
Yeah. You know what our show needs? More rap.
Rap. To which we got many emails. Stop the
What
rapping.
is this?
To which
Stop
I wrote,
it.
"Give him another chance. He can come back next Friday and do a rap." To which Chris Demm replied, "Eat a bag."
But in 10 years, Biggie's knee will fail.
We can see it coming a mile away. In 10 years, his knee's going to fail. We're going to need somebody in here.
Y'all know I'm not a giant Eminem fan, but this is like the second time in a week that I've heard his name related to, and the headline is diss track, because and BB Shea, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw that like last week, Eminem released a new diss track about somebody that he'd been beefing with 20 years ago.
Oh, is that right?
He's very thin-skinned.
To
be somebody who taught.
That's what I love. I'm thin-skinned.
You and Eminem
hold
have a lot in
grudges.
common.
I'm
Yes.
I'm thin-skinned.
You hold grudges,
I hold grudges.
but you can't spit a rhyme.
I do have trouble spitting rhymes. Never have been able to.
Try.
Yeah.
Have you heard the new diss?
No, I haven't. But see, every time somebody says something negative about Eminem, he feels the need to respond. Even if they're not even worth his time, he gets very in his feelings about it. And that's a big knock on him recently.
Oh, really? People don't like that.
Because he can dish it out, he can't take it.
Yeah. I think when you get to a certain level, you know you're going to have a lot of hate.
He's regarded as one of the best ever.
Yeah.
May be the best ever, but he just can't stand criticism.
Well, you know, I told you my story about him when I was watching the Detroit Lions Hard Knocks season on HBO. I enjoyed it. This was 2 seasons ago, and you know how they go inside the training camp of an NFL team, so I watched it. And in one episode, Eminem showed up because he's such a huge Lions fan. And the voiceover guy, who Chris Demm does a great impression of, said, today's guest at training camp needs no introduction. And they showed him, and all the players were like, oh, dog, oh. And they go over there like, dog, you here? And there's this little white guy in a Detroit hat. And I thought, well, I need an introduction if you don't mind.
He must be the owner.
Yeah.
Did he chop her in?
Yes,
he did.
Yes, he landed. You saw it.
Yeah,
he landed on the field. He got out. I was like, oh man. They were like,
here he comes.
Everyone knows who this famous Detroiter is. We have a clue.
Is it Magnum?
We have a clue at this little guy. And at the end, they played this over the credits, and I thought, oh man, I bet that's old Eminem. I'm clueless. That's a sign you're middle age. You have no idea. A sign you're getting older. You have no idea.
The only white rapper. The only rapper you would know.
Yeah. I know when he spits his rhymes, but I don't know him by sight. Like so many celebrities. I just have no idea who they are.
His face blindness.
It's face blindness. He was stepping off his helicopter, and they were all just like, oh, you know, all the players were just in awe of him. I thought, who could this possibly be? I really think they should have put his name on the screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
our narrator guy should have said
narrator guy should, instead of saying he needs no introduction, they should have said, for those of you who are wondering, this is actually Eminem. You know, I mean, I know he's from Detroit and everything, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, maybe in the future there'll be one of those things where you can like a barcode on the screen. Yeah. Scan here if you don't know who this is.
That is a great idea.
Real true interactive TV.
That is great technology. I bet that comes to pass.
Of course.
Don't you think? Scan here to get every bit of information about this story. Because I noticed, like, even the local news now, they have to, when I was in local news, and I was for a time.
6 months? 9?
5.5. All right. They couldn't keep up with what I was doing in local news. I was far ahead of my time.
You're so far ahead of the curve.
I couldn't do it. But the whole thing was, when you did a story, they'd say slug it, slug it, slug it, always, which meant
that's industry talk.
Put up the name and information. If somebody's talking, you have to put their name on the screen. That's gone away.
Yeah, the viewer has to know.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's gone away, because now when you watch it, somebody's talking, you have no idea who it is.
Who's this person? Yeah. Where do they live? What are they talking about?
Almost always in the old days, every time, that was drilled into our head. If it's a city councilman, you put, Mark Johnson, city council, at the meeting or something like that. Now it doesn't happen. But that barcode would be great. That QR code would be great.
It's funny you mentioned that you were ahead of the curve, because frankly you are, because that station now does 13 hours of news a day.
Yes, they've just started their...
They need. Because
they
kept cutting your stories.
They did.
And now they need them.
Now that they have 13 hours, I said, do you think they'd hire me back, Chris?
Come back.
No,
Come back
I don't
season.
know. I don't know. I don't. This old broadcaster needs no introduction.
When they need time to kill and fluff, there's only one man.
When I go down the fluff hole, this is the guy you need. We're filling 13 hours.
We did all of the news we have and still have 36 minutes left in the show. We've done the weather 12 times.
Let's kick it to him.
Where is Chris Kelly when you need him?
That's right.